Well, hello, everybody. Welcome back to Cocktails and Rocktails with me, your most notorious groupie, Allison Rouse, author of this big guy right here, these other little books as well. Ooh, put that one down. Don't put it down, pick it up. Where you can find all this, my merchandise, everything down in that description, so go down like it's the back lounge of a tour bus in the 80s. See a little action. And speaking of action, I always like to be so thankful to everybody here who is just, whether you're hanging out, just watching silently, or participating in the comments, whatever. I'm thankful for the whole family that we have here, you guys. You are helping me build it. You're sharing it. You're discovering new things, different perspectives. I fucking love it. And I love all the women that are really sharing and finding a place for the 80s ladies. Thank you so much, everybody, for really making this family, this community, a big, big, wonderful, amazing family. You guys rock. I can never tell you how much I am truly, truly thankful for everybody here. And speaking of thankful, today's topic, there's a couple people that should be really all these motherfuckers should be thankful, because we're going to touch up on a little topic today that a certain guitar player who crossed the picket line, so to speak, said. I have a couple things to say about this little brouhaha bullshit. So, and we are speaking of brouhaha. Today's cocktail is going to be by Diestel. This is this Touch of Haze. It's Mosaic and Cascade hops. Really awesome. Deadhead. They have different types of hops, different names. It all goes down to the Grateful Dead, which I got to talk about that soon, because yes, I've even met some of the Grateful Dead in a very interesting manner. I might have already talked about that in my Famous People Need Lap Dances 2 episode. But okay, so everybody grab your deadheads, kick up your feet, ooh, and let's have a little cocktails and a rocktails. Ooh, look at that. That looks nice and crisp. Ooh. Yes. All right. Cheers, big ears. That's really nice. It's got this kind of slight bitterness to it. The hops really stand out. I can taste that Mosaic. Just kind of a very nice summery hoppy flavor. If you like a good hoppy beer, this might be your guy right here. We have so many flavors, so many different hops these days. Just amazing. Speaking of amazing, so I saw this headline when I was, getting onto Google. We all have our news suggestions and stuff, and I saw this headline right here. Zach thinks, he's going to be open to going into the studio for a new Pantera album. Okay. We know how I feel about this Pantera tour, because it's not fucking Pantera. Vin never wanted it. He never would have gotten on stage with fucking Rex ever again. They're just milking it for all the nostalgia. It's never going to be the same. And if you want to go in the studio with these guys, fine, do it. Just don't do it under the Pantera name. Because the second you do, you take away Dime, the legacy that he created for himself and Pantera. Zach is nowhere near the type of guitar player that Dime was. Dime is way better by far, in my opinion. Zach is very technical. Yes, he's very aggressive kind of in his approach. He's kind of straightforward, kind of stubborn. But Dime was a guitar player that really sang from the fucking soul. Like, this shit just poured out of him, and he just lost himself in that guitar and that music, and it just fucking blazed its sound. It helped Pantera make that sound. And Dime and Vin, like I said, Dime and Zach, they are never going to be the same guitar player, and Zach can never live up to him as a guitar player. Like I said, Zach is basic technical thrash, rock and roll, heavy metal. You know, it's nothing that he has this one signature sound that he has, kind of crunchier double guitar kind of sound without the double guitar, kind of that solo do 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 do. But it's very, very different from Dime's. So if they went into the studio to make a quote-unquote Pantera album under the guise of making Pantera album, it won't have that same Pantera sound with the guitars alone. And it's just, God, I just want to shake Zach. Because Zach, like I said, Zach is a technical guitar player, and Marie even told him. You can listen to Marie and I's episodes that we did together. How she told Zach, because Marie had a thing with Zach, my friend Marie had a thing with Zach Wilde. If I can find the picture, I'll put it up there of them. But, yeah. So she told him her father was a mariachi, you know, kind of a Mexican guitar player, which is very, very rhythmic and complicated and very different sound and very technically, soulfully adept. And Marie even told him, my father's a better guitar player than you. And it's true. Because like I said, Zach's kind of in his own thing. As to where Dime, he could take anything and just make it into something completely different. Like I said, he was more from the soul. He was more just pure raw motherfucking talent. Strap that guitar on and it just fucking happened. He didn't have to try nothing. So trying to fit Zach into that, because what people don't realize is that a huge part of making an album is the band, the 4 individuals that go into it, and to being in the album or the studio at the same time to make that album, not phoning it in like Metallica does, but actually that chemistry, that sound, which how you play off each other, even the infighting, the conflict that goes on with the band, that all goes into making that particular sound, that particular vibe. And Zach just doesn't have it. Zach's always been in control, you know, and let's just don't even get me started on Charlie. He's basic too. He's a good drummer, but he's not going to be on the top 10 drummers of the world list by any means. I mean, Anthrax definitely has kind of that stuck in its own self sound, you know, that kind of fast, that kind of beat, that kind of rhythm, you know, as to where Pantera has very, very different lulls and thrashes and, you know, different, and Charlie had to learn on a whole new kit because Vin's kit was even so different than his. So, and I'm sorry, but Charlie is not half the band, and Anthrax being the top 4, I just don't buy into that, because Pantera is way better than Anthrax any day. And I just don't think Charlie can in any way, shape, or form. Yeah, he might be able to play on stage with him, but can he create new Pantera music with him? No, he cannot, because it's not motherfucking Pantera, for starters. Oh my God, it just drives me crazy. Because, I mean, okay, I can see out there doing the tribute to Pantera, the fans really getting nostalgic and, you know, but what they're not leaving with the full experience, because it's not Vin and Dime there. And that energy, I mean, you watch Pantera on stage when Vin was playing drums and Dime was up there, and you could see where like the magic really, really emanated from. Like Vin is one of those drummers that really stood out to the crowd, even though he was behind everybody. And like I said, let's face it, Vincent Paul would never, ever get on that stage with Rex King again, after the useless, unnecessary, hateful, egotistical, waste of time insults he wrote about Vin in his book. So for them to do another album, I mean, here's what it comes down to for me. How motherfucking desperate are you for money? Because what it comes down to, let's face it, Black Label Society has never been a huge bread and butter for Zach Wilde. They don't make as much money as he would going out with Ozzy, and he's not going out with Ozzy anytime soon, is he? Nope. Barbara Ann, his wife, kept having kids. They got kids to support. So this is making him more money than he's probably seen with Black Label Society altogether. So of course he wants to go into that studio to make a new album, because going to bring him money. He'll get writing credits. He'll get royalties. He can usurp more money out of Dime and Vin's hard work. Because let's face it, Vincent Paul put in so much motherfucking work. He was the only one working at McDonald's when Pantera first started. This was his project. Pantera was Vincent Paul from day one. And I don't know what happened with Vin and Zach while he was still alive. I know there was a falling out. There was a big fight with him. I think they got everything straight. Vin is very well known for holding a grudge. I do think they got straight before Vin died. But if Vin knew this was going on, that'd be it. He would never fucking talk to Zach again. Especially, let's go make another Pantera album. Fuck you, Zach. Fuck you. You can never make another Pantera album because you might be able to emulate the songs note per note, but it's still not Dime and Vin because they were their own and they were better than you. They were better than Charlie. They were brothers. They had that chemistry that you and Charlie can never, ever replicate. Like, Alex Van Halen and Eddie Van Halen. Oh my God, why did I forget that name? Or like John and Twistle and Keith Moon had. It's very, very rare. And it's like what Keith Richards and Mick Jagger have. You don't have that with Charlie. You don't have that with Phil. You don't have that. But you're all on the high of, oh, everybody loves Pantera. Yeah, they fucking loved Pantera. And who was the backbone of Pantera? Vincent Paul. Dime. Two of the most talented musicians metal has ever seen. Zach and Charlie fall very short of that. And then there's this little headline that Zach puts up here. Oh, I see all these signs from Dime, like 333, his favorite number, which it was. Or like Barbara Ann points out something and I'm like, yeah. And she's like, look, it reminds me of Dime. And he's so vague in his description of what that is. He just says something besides the number 333, which we all see it twice a day. Sometimes he's like, maybe on a license plate or... Cool, yeah, that could be a sign from Dime, but have you seen a sign from Vinny? Because it's going to look a lot like motherfucking this. Yeah, it's going to look a lot like that. Have you been struck down by lightning yet? Because it's going to look a lot like that too, Zach, if Vincent Paul's giving you a sign. But he conveniently leaves that out because what it comes down to, Zach would not be able to look at Vin in the face if Vin came back to life right now and stood in front of him for 10 minutes. He can't look at him in the face in death. He can't look at him in the face in life because what he knows he's doing is backstabbing the two guys he called his brothers. Dime might have gotten on board with this, but Vincent Paul never would have. So it never would have happened. Plain and simple. So he's pretty much just stabbing Vincent Paul in the back again. Well done, you golf clap for jackasses like that. I mean, I don't get where his ego is going. Yeah, I do get where his ego is going because like I said, he's making more money. He's getting more adulation that he hasn't gotten in a long time because he hasn't been doing a whole lot with Black Label. He hasn't been doing anything with Ozzy. Barbara Ann kept pushing out those kids. He has college and mortgages and all this stuff to pay that he probably does not have a shit ton of money in the bank for. And this probably tripled what he had before he went out on the road for Pantera. And his ego of standing on the stage being like, yeah, I'm doing this for my brothers. You're not doing this for your brothers. You're doing this for your own motherfucking ego. Because if you had listened to your brother, if you did anything for those brothers, you would have seen that Vincent Paul said, I have it posted here. A reunion is getting all the original members back together. And that's never going to happen with Pantera. So this is not a reunion. This is a tribute. And if you are going to go in and make another album together because you're enjoying the time with these guys, then cool, do it. Just don't do it under the Pantera name. because it's not going to be Pantera. And then all of a sudden, here Zach is going to be getting writer's credits, getting royalties, getting all this shit, usurping but more money off the backs of the work that Vincent Paul and Dime did to get this band going. Mostly Vincent Paul. Vincent Paul was, for lack of a better word, what I call him, the Fuhrer of the band. Because there's always that one guy who really makes the band, who guides the direction, who knows the business, yada, 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 right? And Vincent Paul was that guy. So now here you come in, Zach's all of a sudden, and Charlie are all of a sudden going to get writing credits. And Charlie's already being called drummer of Pantera. He will never be the drummer of Pantera. So if they go in and do this, as far as I'm concerned, it's just punching those two in the gut. It's especially Vincent Paul. And it's just wiping them out of Pantera and the legends that they were and still are in metal. And I think it's just another such a deep betrayal. I can never tell you how much I'm disgusted by those. Just because, what a fucking low-ass shit move. And you all had to wait for Vincent Paul to die to get it done, didn't you? Just all sitting there waiting like vultures on a post for a fucking chicken to get killed while it's crossing the road and to eat its carcass. Because Black Label was nothing but a skeleton key for you. It was putting a Band-Aid on your financial greatness. Getting you from kid to kid, so to speak. I mean, but it's just... And money is a hell of a motivator. I mean, I guess it is because... Like I said, he's going to all of a sudden get writing credits for Pantera. And to me, that's just wrong. Again, you're taking that away. He's all of a sudden going to be the guitar god of Pantera. Wiping out Vincent Paul. It's like when Zach Starkey or Kenny Jones took over in The Who, they didn't try to wipe out Keith Moon. They played in a way that they kept his legend, because you had to, and they both played with John. John was so used to him and Keith's thing that they just kind of automatically took John's lead. And that's really kind of how Vin and Dime worked together in Pantera. You know, the other two were just along for the ride. They didn't get much done. Vin was 24/7 working to make Pantera and keep Pantera who they were. And if you go in that studio and... It's just going to be such a huge, like I said, punch in the gut. Just a huge disrespect. Because now you're called the guitar player of Pantera. How do you think Dime would like that? Now Charlie is called the drummer of Pantera. Now you're getting the glory for the new album that Vin never wanted of Pantera. You're wiping out two of the greatest musicians that the metal rock world has ever seen. Don't call it Pantera. If you want to go make music with them, cool, badass, go do it. Go feed the kids. Because that's what this is really all about. Egos saying, yeah, I'm doing this for my brother. I see the signs. Kind of funny how you never once mentioned Vincent Paul. Why is that? Because you know, your subconscious knows that you're fucking him over big time. How you lay your head down at night, Zach, is beyond me. So, there you guys go. There's my opinion for the day on if they go in and try to make a Pantera album. Because, of course, it's going to bring more royalties to Rita. It's going to bring more royalties to, and now that Jerry passed away, who has complete control of the royalties? Is it Rita now? Where's it going? Is it, what's her name? Chelsea, I think that was Vin's girlfriend when he passed away, his widow. So is it her? Do they need that much money? Because let's face it, Vin did not leave a huge bucket of millions behind. He left about 7-8 million, if that. So probably everybody's run out of it right now and they need to re-up the ante, so to speak. All comes down to money, isn't it? Well, Zach, if you see a sign of somebody flipping you off, that's probably Vincent Paul or me. So there you guys go. Go down in the comments, you guys. Let me know what you think about if they would go in and make a new quote-unquote Pantera album. How you feel about that. How you feel about Zach being called the guitar player of Pantera when he's not. Or Charlie being called the drummer of Pantera when he's not. Everybody thinks he's a great drummer. No, he's just following what Vincent Paul did because Vincent Paul was that great drummer. Nobody thought Charlie was a great drummer before this. So they're getting more adoration, more attention, more, what do we call it? Advertising, deals, marketing. They're getting more and more and more by doing this. So of course they don't want to leave it behind. But, all right, guys, thank you so much for getting to the end and listening to my rant with me. Tell me what you think of the tour, or if they tried to make an album under Pantera's. Go down in that comments. Share it with me, because we all know how I feel, so tell me how you feel. And thank you to everybody again for getting to the end of the episode. If you're just lurking, hanging out, you haven't subscribed yet, go down, hit that subscribe, become a member. Go and hit that. Oh, and Kristen was supposed to be here. She wasn't able to make it because unfortunately she lost her little brother who was in the Air Force. So lots of love and light to her family and hugs during this time that they're going through, because nobody should have to lose a little brother. Nobody should have to lose anybody unnaturally, you know. So she will be back, but not this week. So, but all right, you guys, so hit the subscribe, become a member, hit the share button, hit my bells, and we will see you next time on Cocktails and Rocktails. Cheers, big ears.